Stations, all stations. Good evening and welcome to the SOARA VHF UHF net. This net is held every Tuesday evening at 2000 hours or 8 p.m. on the SOARA linked 2-meter 220 and 440 repeaters. This is a directed net. And this is Ray 86H, and this station will be net control this evening. Before we begin the net, is there any emergency or priority traffic? No emergency or priority traffic heard. The first order of business tonight will be announcements. Anyone with announcements for the net, please come now.
VS6 DDT.
Yeah, I have Dale. Any others? Well, hearing none others, Dale, please go ahead with your announcements.
I'm going to defer to you on Winterfield Day announcement, just announcing what happened and stuff like that. I'll make my typical shilling for the propagator, Ray, K6NOV, at SOAR.org. Would love to hear from you for any articles you'd like to see published in the propagator. Doesn't have to be much. We'll work with you to get it in shape if it needs a little bit of help. But you would appreciate the articles, and I know I like reading them. So please send them to Ray, K6NOV at SOAR.org. And with that, back to you, Ray, and thank you for running the net. I'll be around for the rest of the net.
Okay, Dale, and thanks. And this is, again, Ray, 86H. And, well, we had approximately 20 people turn out for Winterfield Day this past Saturday, the 24th, off and on, all at the same time, but that was fine, and that's as it should be. For the most part, most of the day we had 3HF transmitters on the air. It did dwindle to 2 later as the afternoon wore on, and it was nearing time to pack up. I don't have a tab right now, as of yet, of the number of contacts we made, because the bands weren't spectacular, and I suspect, too, a lot of the people who would normally play in Winterfield Day were finding other things to do given the bad weather throughout 2/3 of the country. I did notice more than ever we had a lot of H category and I category stations, pretty much because H stands for home station and I stands for indoor, other than your home shack, like a clubhouse or some sort of school event, assembly place, EOC, etc. So a lot of people were hunkering down indoors, certainly, very understandable. But we in Southern California were able to enjoy pretty decent weather all afternoon. It wasn't a strong wind. It was partly sunny or mostly sunny, and the weather was very mild. So we had a great time. Anyway, thanks for your announcements, Dale. And before we leave announcements, is there anyone else with an announcement? If so, please come down. Well, in none other hurry, we'll take check-ins in any order, and also a topic for tonight is Hamfests. And have you ever attended one? Do you plan to attend one? If you wanted to, weren't sure, what are they all about, all that sort of thing, feel free to comment. Inspired by my recent trip, as Mike mentioned, to Arizona and the Arizona Quartz Fest last week. With that, we'll take check-ins in any order. Please come now.
10-6 ESG Glen, November 6 Echo Sierra Golf Glen.
Alpha India 6 with Echo.
Kilo 6 Hotel India Victor.
Okay, well, I have N6 ESG Glen, 6W Mike, K6 HIV Canute. Any others?
November 5 Kilo Zulu Victor Bob.
Okay, well, thanks, Bob, for adding, and we'll start the rotation now and pick up any stragglers in a minute or two. So, over to Dale, W6TDT. Any comments on Hamfests? I know you like to go to Visalia and similar events, so you can help fill us in on those. Over to you, Dale, 86H.
Well, thank you, Ray. Yes, I do really enjoy going to Hamfests. I have not been to Dayton, sort of the granddaddy of them all, and also there's one down in Florida I haven't been to. And plenty of others, I'm sure, but I do, as you say, I like to go to Pacificon and Visalia and Yuma and Big Bear, and there were others that have come and gone. Palm Springs Hamfest with the Desert Rats, I think, and also there was used to be one up in LA, and somewhere that I went to, I think the first year I was licensed, so that was no more. So yes, they're a lot of fun. I find them extremely informative. Like really going for Pacificon and Visalia in particular, I really like going to the seminars. There's a lot of stuff on the show floor, and I like that stuff too, but it's definitely formative trip. And of course, there's a swap meet and stuff like that, and some of them. So, at the end of the day, plenty of stuff to do. I highly recommend it. Even if you just go to a local one like Big Bear, it's a great experience. So with that, I'll pass it back to you, Ray, W6. I'll have a little more to say next round.
Okay, thanks, Dale. And over to Glenn, N6ESG. N6ESG, Glenn, are you there?
Yeah, okay, took me a while. Yeah, I've been to the court site. I went there, I don't know, 3 years ago or so, but right now my health is so bad I don't drive that far anymore. But I like going because you get to talk to the vendors. Also, you learn about some special areas of ham radio, like satellites, working with satellites, and the space. I think you can even talk to International Space Station. Yeah, you get introduced to new concepts. That's what I like. Back to net control.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. And they can be very informative and interesting. So we'll go to Mike here, 6WE. Any observations about Quartzman?
Not too much there, Ray, about Quartzsite. It was a fun event, and did have a nice. It was a medium turnout with right around 450, 460, somewhere in there, that actually signed their name on the dotted line as people that checked in there, but not much else about it. Got home Saturday, enjoyed it, and had fun, and got to see a lot of people I hadn't seen in a while. But since it's been brought up twice now, I will say that I was very thoroughly displeased to hear that Big Bear is not going to happen this year due to issues with the hotel where it was happening. So that's a sad. So hopefully I can sneak out to Yuma at the end of February on the 27th, 28th. So we'll have to wait to see how that goes. One of these days I would love to go to Orlando or Dayton or one of those other conventions. But in the near future, probably not. I'll be in the 6 with the Echo. Back to net.
Oh, thanks, Mike. And yeah, you confirmed what I've been reading tonight, but I didn't have. You added a reason, and that's of all the reasons to happen, that's probably the best one. I was concerned that maybe some issues with the organizers, health or otherwise. So good. If it has to not happen, at least it can be the Hotel 12. So thanks for that info. And now, over to Canute, K6HIV. This is AE6H.
Yeah, good evening, Ray. Good to hear you on there. Thank you for taking the net tonight. Appreciate that very much. This is K6HIV from beautiful downtown Rancho Santa Margarita. Yeah, I actually haven't attended a Hamfests in a number of years. Always have other activities, family social, etc. And then only money to spend. Anyway, it just doesn't happen. I went to a few Hamfests many years ago, and they were always a lot of fun. Much younger man. Yeah, I support Hamfest in principle. I just can't do it in person. So, hey, back to you, Ray, K6HIV.
Okay, and thanks, Canute. Yeah, I understand certainly that part of it. Anyway, hopefully you can attend in spirit at least, and maybe get good reports from others to help find out what's going on. Now let's go to N5 Kilo Zulu Victor above.
Good evening, Ray, and all. This is N5KZB. Like the previous two, I haven't been to a Hamfest since I left Arkansas, and that was in 1990. I thoroughly enjoyed them back then, but just haven't got one of those rounds to it yet. Maybe this year I'll attend some. I'm sorry to hear the Big Bear is not going to happen, because that would have been one that I would have most likely been able to get to. Not having anything else to contribute, I'll give it back to net control. This is in 5KZB.
Okay, thanks, Bob. And yeah, as Mike observed, I just got back from Quartz Fest. I have to say it wasn't exactly what I expected. There were no vendors this year. I'm not sure if there are or not. I was under the impression that there would be. And most of the seminars were real basic, I think. Didn't seem to get too technical. I only attended a couple. So again, it wasn't at all what I expected. If I had to give an observation, it would be a heavy dose of RVing and socializing among the RV crowd with a touch of ham radio thrown in here and there. And maybe I exaggerate a little bit, because there was, every day there were several talks given, that sort of thing, on ham radio, and often 3 at a time, because we had 3 presentation areas where you could go. And you are somewhat limited, of course, is everything is outdoors. But the social part was great. Saw some people I hadn't seen in a while. Got to talk to folks. Got to share some RV tips. So I guess I kind of fell into the same mode as the others. But a little bit of ham radio and quite a bit RV. More? Okay, with that, over to call for correction. Let's call for any additional check-ins. Would anyone else like to check in to the SOARA VHF UHF net? If so, please come now. Well, looks like we are a net of 6 tonight. Perhaps someone will join us later. So we'll go to Dale, W6 EDT, for anything further.
Well, thanks, Ray, and that was, I was quite surprised to hear what Mike had to say about the Big Bear Ham Escape. Like you say, I'm glad it was something to do with the business side as opposed to something else. At one point, I thought they were talking about using the Big Bear Convention Center, but maybe that didn't work out, and the hotel was not being cooperative either. And so, yeah, it's a tough thing. I had a couple of friends that ran a convention for software people in Keystone, Colorado, and they did that for 20-some years before, basically calling it quits. And they told me all kinds of stories, especially early on, about finding a venue and negotiating and not having, having to make sense, because they only did the one convention a year and they lived on that the whole year. So, it can be very, very tricky to do the business side of it. I like going to conventions in general. For many, many years, I went to CES. Stopped right around COVID and have not been back. And but I like going to DEF CON out in Las Vegas, the Hackers Convention, and local conventions up here at the Anaheim Convention Center. There's one coming up middle of the first part of next week, actually. It's called MDM West. It's a medical device and electronics convention. So there's a lot of good, interesting information you can get, and usually you can get in free. So that works out. I'm basically cheap. I don't feel like paying a lot of money for that stuff. Anyway, I'll pass it back to Ray, W6DDT.
I'm sure, Dale, it's definitely a challenge, and I don't envy the crowd, but, I didn't go, I went 2 years, and last year definitely was building on the previous year, and I was hoping, even bigger and better things for this year. That is unfortunate. And it looks like they use the word suspended, meaning that they have obviously had started all the planning and then had to stop for some reason. Well, as we know, some reason with the hotel. And I'm sure they may want to keep that somewhat confidential as to the specifics, so as not to burn any bridges with Holiday Inn. Anyway, thanks, and for your observation. And over to Glenn, N6ESG.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to say 70. Sorry, but I think I dropped out. I'm in bed. I got pneumonia. I'm going to just have to say 73s here, and I'm about ready to fall asleep anyway. So I'll pass it back to net control.
Okay, Glenn, we'll get a good night's rest and hope you feel better and get over that. Lots of liquids, lots of rest, And a little bit of chicken soup never hurt. Hope you recover soon. And over to Mike, AI6WE.
Understood, and not much more here either. Ironically, just sitting here having some dinner, like I said, and house is home. The kitty cats are taking their nap in the cat tree, so I can't complain. I get a little peace and quiet here. Alpha India 6 Whiskey Echo.
Okay, Mike. Well, good to hear you this evening. Good to see you over at Quartzsite. And thanks. Have a good rest of your evening. Enjoy your dinner. Over to Canute, K6HIV. This is 86H.
Yeah, well, talking about the weather, we had a beautiful day today here in Southern California. Well, my daughter back in Pittsburgh said they had 20 inches of snow yesterday when I talked to her. According to the weather people back there building up, it's going to be snow in Wichita. This is national weather report. But we got it good here, so I hope we can all enjoy amateur radio. One of the fun things that I'm looking forward to is motor stuff and get a little fresh air. I'll bid with that just a few thoughts on another subject, and I'll bid 73, and thanks to everybody for coming into the net tonight. 86 HIV, back to net control.
Well, thanks, Canute. And it was a beautiful day today. I was able to accomplish a lot outdoors, so I'm thankful for that, but I'm running out of steam as well. So anyway, thanks again. And let's go to N5 KZB, Bob.
This is N5 KZB. Ray and I've got nothing else to add tonight either, Ray, so appreciate you running the net as always. It was a beautiful day. So I'll give it back to you. This is N5 KZB, saying 73.
Okay, thanks, Bob, and glad you checked in. This is 86H, and this is the SOARA Tuesday evening VHF UHF net. Would anyone else like to check in to the net before we close? Well, I guess not, but would like to comment that there's 186 ARRL Hamfest conventions and significant meetings scheduled for 2026 here in the U.S. That's 186. Of those, exactly 0 are in Southern California. Big Bear would have been our hurrah, if you will. Unfortunately, as you say, that is suspended. Yuma's coming up the 26th and 7th, or correction, 27th and 28th of next month, basically a month from now. I understand that's a really good one. I may very well try to make it. And that is, in fact, going to be the ARRL Southwest Division Convention as well. So that's something to look forward. There are 7 ARRL conventions, Hamfests, gatherings, etc., scheduled for 2026, and all of the 7 are over in Arizona. So, and of course, we will be participating in the ARRL Field Day, and mark your calendars. That is June 27th and 28th, 2026. So June 27th, 28th is ARRL Field Day. So mark your calendars for all of those that interest you, but especially Field Day. SOARA will be participating in the usual location with the usual suspects. That will go to Dale, W6EDT.
Well, thanks, Ray. It looks like the net's mostly checked out, so I'll just say 73. Thank you for running the net. And, definitely plan to go to Yuma. There's actually several good Hamfests in Arizona, more on the eastern end, which is a little bit more of a drive. So, anyway, we'll talk to you later. This is W6EDT. Back to net.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I'm joining with Yuma certainly, and if I went, I would be looking to probably to camp, like I did in Quartzsite, with my little travel trailer. So that would be a good thing. I learned a lot in Quartzsite, not so much about ham radio, but a whole lot more about RVing with a mini trailer. So all good lessons. Joe Orico, WB6HRO, who called member, was also over there with a the big sister to mine, he bought it about the same time, about a year ago. It has a little more room in it, but it's also a little wider and would be problematic for me to store at home. He is able to store his at home, however, and that's a big savings. Here in Orange County, RV storage areas are at a premium and they're not cheap. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Thanks everybody for participating in the net. And with that, I'll say 7-3 all. This is AE6H, net control. The net is closed. The repeater, return to normal operation.